For this video, I'm trying something a little different. Instead of my normal filming at NFP Real Estate World Headquarters in Coon Rapids, I'm up here at my cabin in Remer. The weather's beautiful. I just decided to escape for a little bit. Usually when people search for the best place to live in Minnesota, they expect to see a list of towns. But what if the answer is a property you already own? Or a property like this one? In this series, we've looked at condos, townhomes, apartments, senior living facilities, but in this video we're going to go in a little different direction. There's also a part of rural living that really has nothing to do with the house itself. For me, it's things like getting out in a kayak on a nice day, catching a walleye, spending time in the woods, or just sitting in the boat looking across the lake. And then there are things I never really plan on. I've got trail cameras at the cabin, and they caught turkeys, deer, a bear, and even a bobcat. It's just different when the wildlife is part of what you see around the house instead of something you have to go looking for. And some nights you step outside and get a view like this. That quiet, the space, the wildlife, and the ability to be outdoors are some of the biggest reasons people start wondering whether rural Minnesota might be a better fit for them. This week we're going to talk about more of a rural lifestyle. And whether you're talking a seasonal cabin, a house in a small town, a year-round lake home, or even a rural acreage property, these are all different styles of rural living, and let's just touch on each of them and the pluses and minuses of this type of lifestyle. Obviously, I have some experience. I'm here at my cabin in Remer, and this cabin's on almost 5 acres. It's a one-level cabin. I didn't spend a lot of money on it, but I have no neighbors, and yet I'm in the city limits. I'm 3 blocks from the grocery store, this cafe, anything a small town might offer. Now, even though my cabin can certainly support year-round living, in fact, we come up here in all year round, we really haven't made a plan. Eventually, we may retire to Remer, but probably not to this particular house. But it's really still undecided at this point. If you're considering this type of lifestyle, there's a few things you want to consider. I mean, obviously this feels great for a week in July, but what's it like in the wintertime? Is the house adequate? Does the house have adequate electrical? Can you get there in the wintertime? What's snow removal like? Are the roads plowed? Will you have enough storage? You have to remember, some properties can be adapted for year-round use. Well, probably any property could be. It's just a matter of what it's going to cost you to get there. And a small house may seem like it's easier to maintain, but it may also feel cramped when you bring all your personal belongings with you. And if you're talking long-term use, moving to a rural property, whether it's one you own or one you're looking to buy, you may want to consider whether you've got a main floor bedroom, a main floor laundry, even all the living facilities on one level. What's the access like? Can you get in and out of it? Is there room for your hobbies? Is there space for family or guests to come spend time with you? Is the furnace and AC adequate? And all in all, is the house itself comfortable season after season? And again, the house might be smaller, but the property may require more work than the house you're leaving behind in the cities. If we're talking rural acreage properties, more space is more responsibilities. Long driveways, more lawn to care for. How are you going to handle snow removal? What about docks and boats? Or clean up after a storm. I've had a tree hit my cabin that I had to come spend almost a week up here just cutting tree debris, getting rid of it, and then repairing the house. Rural property also brings in wells and septic systems. You should find somebody well versed in these things. I've gotten pretty well versed about those over the years. If you've got questions, I'm certain I can answer them. Of course, the trade-off with rural acreage properties is you have room for outdoor activities and hobbies and other things you want to do outdoors. And regardless of what rural area you live in, whether it's in a city, in a town, a small city, or just out in the countryside, what services are close enough? Groceries, healthcare, a hardware store, contractors, distance from family. Is the family going to come visit you, or are you going to go visit them? And of course, restaurants and social activities. Is internet available? Is it adequate internet? Does your cell phone get reception? You know, my Remer property, yeah, I've got privacy here. I'm 3 blocks from town. There's a grocery store. There's a hardware store. There's a cafe. Of course, a municipal liquor store and another bar. But from here, the nearest Walmart or Home Depot or Menards or any of the major things are about 35 miles away. That's something to keep in mind, especially in the wintertime. Speaking of wintertime, are you still going to love it in January? Are the businesses seasonal? What things close down? What things stay open? Is there more or less social opportunity? Do you enjoy winter outdoor activities? And remember, especially here in Minnesota, we have less daylight to get that maintenance done and taken care of. The area you're choosing to live should not be judged by a week in July when everything's open and things are thriving. It should be judged by the middle of January. Or even April. What else is going on? You have to ask yourself what you're trying to gain. Do you enjoy fishing, gardening, a workshop, riding ATVs, snowmobiles, being on a lake, a quiet porch, room for a family gathering? Or are you just looking for more privacy, more outdoor recreation, less traffic, and a connection to nature? And don't leave out the small town community. Small town communities are tighter knit, and it's a different lifestyle. And regardless of which housing style, if you're moving to a rural area, what are you giving up? What are you leaving behind? Familiar neighbors? Having family nearby? Churches? Clubs? The YMCA? Shopping? Restaurants? I mean, even here in Remer, the restaurants are pretty limited. We've got the Tavern, we've got the Woodsman, and don't forget Choppers. Choppers is fantastic. But that's not a whole lot. And remember, you've got established routines with where you live now. And it may take some getting used to, and you may want to research these things a little bit before you commit to the move. As with all of these videos, I include a lifestyle score. And the first thing on it is maintenance. And a maintenance in a rural lifestyle, regardless of whether you're talking a seasonal cabin, a house in town, or rural acreage. There's going to be some variation, but I'm going to only give the maintenance a 2 stars. Up next on our lifestyle review, travel friendly. Travel friendly from a rural area, it can be a little more difficult than living in a big city. So travel friendly, I'm only going to give it a 2 star. And remember, the travel friendly has to work 2 ways. Not only you going to visit somebody and coming home, But do you have friends, relatives, people that want to come visit you? Are they going to be willing to travel in the wintertime on Minnesota roads to come and see you? Up next, privacy. Privacy in a rural area, for the most part, I have to give it a 5 out of 5. Even though, if you're part of a small town community, people are going to pay attention to when you're coming and going. Now, one of the big ones in my book is the workshop, which is our next item on our lifestyle score. And a workshop in a rural community, or again, depending on which type of property you're looking at, but I've got to give it a 5 out of 5. Even in small town houses, almost everybody's got a workshop. And when you're talking acreage, you might have multiple outbuildings to store ATVs, snowmobiles, boats, and have the workshop of your dream. Next up on our lifestyle review is social opportunity. Now, I'm going to give social opportunity only 3 stars out of 5. Small towns have very strong communities with a lot of social opportunities, and people generally interact together really, really well. Although, if you're in an area of primarily seasonal properties, it gets pretty lonely in the wintertime. The last category on our lifestyle review is aging in place, and I'm honestly not even going to give a star review on this because it can vary so very, very much. Depends on the property you've got, how you want to finish it off, or there are places in these communities that are designed to age in place and live in a small town. Some of the small towns have all the medical facilities, everything you'd want for aging in place. And some of the more rural and remote places, yeah, it'd be tough to age in place. If you decide rural lifestyle's for you, you've still got the concern about, what do I do with the house I have now? Do we sell it before we make the move? Do we keep both properties temporarily? Do you want to test out the living in a rural area first? What repairs should we make before we sell? Do we want to buy a property that we're going to outfit for long term and spend some time remodeling that to fit our needs, or even building new to build your dream house for the future? And are you moving towards something, or just simply avoiding maintenance? This is where my experience as a realtor, a broker, and a general contractor can really come into play, because now we're balancing 2 properties, not just one. Moving to a rural property and embracing a rural lifestyle is a strong fit for somebody who values their privacy, wants outdoor space, for somebody who has hobbies that work best in rural areas: snowmobiling, ATVing, ice fishing. You need to be able to manage the distance from services. And you need a property that's suitable for year-round use. Moving to a rural community or embracing the rural lifestyle may not be attractive for somebody who's looking for less maintenance, or you need nearby transportation, or if you've got medical conditions that require frequent doctor visits. There's also certainly not regular organized social activities. You really have to embrace the rural lifestyle and help organize these things yourself. And most rural properties, for the travel-friendly part, you can't just turn the key and walk away. Luckily, there's generally friends and neighbors that'll look out for things for you. Could you see yourself embracing a rural lifestyle? living full-time at a cabin, a lake home, a small townhouse, or even rural acreage? Or would the maintenance and distance from services just be too much for you? Let me know in the comments. Reach out to me. And if you're trying to decide what to do with the home you own now, or trying to decide whether a rural property could realistically be a good fit, I'd be happy to help you look at both sides of that decision.